Hi everyone, Matthew Skelton here, co-author of Team Topologies. Welcome to Stream of Teams, Team Topologies live stream. This is episode number 6, and we're focused today on generative AI and how Team Topologies can be used to help shape an approach to generative AI from lots of different perspectives. And we've got a great guest to introduce in a minute. Before we do that, I just want to point out a few things that are relevant. So. As always, I would like to point you to the Team Topologies community. Let me just share my screen to do that. There we go. So we've got one particular part of the Team Topologies community. So if you go to community.teamtopologies.com, which is here, community.teamtopologies.com, and we've got various different areas, including one on AI and data. And there's some really good discussions that have happened there recently. Of course, a few weeks ago, there was another live stream that was all focused on AI and data as well, with 2 of the 3 authors of the book, Effective Machine Learning Teams. So have a look at that. The live stream recording you can find from there. So if you want to get to the live stream link, teamtopologies.com/livestream, you'll find all the previous episodes there, including this episode. I think it was episode 2, was it? Yeah, on Team Topologies for AI and ML. We've got some other discussions that are kind of interesting in here as well. In particular, so inside the community, this one. You'll find a discount code for the upcoming FastFlow conference in the Netherlands. So if you hop into the community there, join. It's free to join. And if you want to attend that in the Netherlands, it's in a few weeks' time. FastFlow conference here. There's some amazing speakers. So it's 27th of March 2025, and some amazing speakers, including my co-author Manuel Paish, but a whole bunch of other people too. Loads of amazing experience using Team Topologies and applying it and thinking it through and so on and so on. So if the tickets are not expensive at all, it's not a for-profit conference. It's a community conference, and there's a bit of sponsorship from some forward-thinking organizations in there as well. So the community there is doing a great job. It looks amazing lineup. If you're interested, head to community.teamtopologies.com and you'll be able to find that discount code just inside that the general chat. Right, what else do we need to do? We need to introduce our guest for today. So, here we go. And my guest, Roberta Lingnau. Hi, good to see you.
Hi, Matthew. Good to see you too.
Well,
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Well, it's not even just Happy Friday for you, is it? It's like, it's Happy Carnival as well, right?
Right. We will have the entire weekend filled with lots of fun.
Yep. Whereabouts are you based?
I'm based in south of Brazil in a tiny island called Florianopolis.
Sounds idyllic.
Yes, we have 42 beaches. It's an amazing place. It's my favorite city, to be honest, in the entire country.
It's a good job you're there then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Place to be. So thank you. Really appreciate you joining me today. It's really cool. We're going to explore kind of using Team Topologies for AI and ML based on the work that you've been doing, you've been leading within the organization you work for. So you've got 19 years of expertise in delivery management, service management, and you're currently head of delivery at CI&T, spearheading some transformative programs and so on and so on. Do you want to just give us a quick overview from your perspective of what you do and how you like to do it and how you like to work and so on, what you bring?
Right. So actually 20 years this year that I have been working as a consultant. Here at CI&T, we are shaping organizational futures, developing teams and fostering a culture of growth. especially when we are talking now with generative AI. So we are bringing that as part to the conversation with our clients in order to gain efficiency and positively impact the software development lifecycle as a whole. So I'm responsible for a portfolio of projects and clients, and we have been extensively and heavily working on adopting generative AI as part of our collaboration with our clients.
So you're working on like IT transformation and building software and so on and so on with your client organizations, right? Yeah.
Yes. Here at CI&T, we are an end-to-end partner to our clients' journeys, whether it's in the data realm or if it's modernization, digital transformation, Salesforce, Databricks, you name it.
So you end up seeing a lot of the challenges, a lot of the opportunities for improving things in terms of sort of architecture and teams and flow and boundaries and all this kind of stuff, right? Because you're working across these multiple different customers.
Right. And this is why, the Team Topologies conversation is so important, because when we are thinking about generative AI, we are thinking about the tool, right? But when we are talking about Team Topologies, we are actually thinking about how we are going to reshape the team's organizations in order to accommodate this new area that is approaching.
Yeah, and we'll dive into that in a bit, right? And you're a Team Topologies advocate as well. I can't remember when you actually became an advocate. It was a while ago, wasn't it? I think that was in place.
It was earlier this year, and
yep.
It has been a great experience so far collaborating with the community and you and Manuel. So looking forward to continue advocating on such important topic.
And if anyone is watching the stream, if you're interested in becoming a Team Topologies advocate like Roberta, head to the page there, Team Topologies Advocate. You'll find the link on the website. And it'll have a look. Advocates are people who are then out in the in industry around the world advocating for the use of and extensions to Team Topologies, like understanding the details and putting it into practice effectively. So we've got from people all around the world, different regions, and we're always looking for people who are keen to spread the underlying message around Team Topologies, which is, how we're making organizations more effective and more humane through Team Topologies approaches. Okay, right. So, Roberta, in a minute we're gonna dive into some of your direct experience, right? But before that, we've got an extra special guest, a further guest, to join us, and that's my co-author Manuel Page. Hi, Manuel.
Hello, Matthew. Hola, Roberta. Thanks for having me. I'm doing a short appearance. Unfortunately, I cannot stay the whole stream, but it's super interesting topics, and I will definitely be watching the recording. Just want to drop by and say hi and say that also Roberta has been doing an amazing job bringing the ideas of Team Topologies in Brazil. I feel like you are, even though you've become a TTA recently, you've been an unofficial ambassador for Team Topologies in Brazil.
That was what was in my head. Like I've been watching you for a long time, like talking about it. So like, okay, officially it was only like a couple of months ago, a few weeks ago, but yeah, in practice you've been advocating for this stuff for quite a while, I think.
Yes, for sure, especially in local events here in Brazil, presenting some of the cases that I had the opportunity to be exposed to with our clients, right? So it has been an amazing journey. Yeah, it was actually this year that it was official, but I have been talking about Team Topologies since 2020, 2021. So it has been a long time.
This is what I've got in my head. Definitely. And so here's the thing. So I was thinking earlier on, how can we make use of this opportunity with two Portuguese speakers? So what we're going to do is, for I think 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to flip into Portuguese language, and this is where I pause for a bit and let you two have a chat. I might even take myself off the live stream.
Are you not?
So
fluent in Portuguese yet, Matthew? I have done a bad job then.
All right, go for it, and then we'll come back in about a couple of minutes.
Feliz sexta-feira de carnaval, Manuel.
Obrigada. Feliz carnaval. Já sei que vai ser durante a próxima semana e em alguns sítios é mais tempo de carnaval, não é? No Brasil.
Sim, com certeza. A gente estava conversando nos bastidores antes de começar aqui a live, né? Sobre a questão do impacto de Team Topologies, né, no ecossistema brasileiro aí, né, nas empresas. Quer contar um pouquinho como que foi, né? Ano passado tu esteve aqui, infelizmente não consegui me conectar contigo pessoalmente, né? Mas com certeza deve ter sido uma experiência super enriquecedora.
Sim, foi com certeza, e acho que é super interessante ver como foi a adoção de Team Topologies no Brasil, porque é uma realidade particular, porque há uma escala que não existe muitas vezes aqui na Europa, temos países mais pequenos, e já desde algum tempo atrás que eu tenho falado com algumas empresas, até pessoas no certo setor público no Brasil, e já tinha a ideia de que há também bastante propensão a adotar novas metodologias, novas formas de pensar o trabalho. Eu acho que nesse aspecto o Brasil está, em geral, bastante à frente. Não há aquele receio de adotar novas metodologias, novos processos, novas ideias, e tem sido muito interessante porque eu já há algum tempo que tenho falado como eu disse, por exemplo, no setor público, na Fazenda do Estado de Rio de Janeiro, aplicaram ideias de Team Topologies, também e depois em empresas de várias escalas, já falei com, digamos, startups, scale-ups na área de tecnologia, que também aplicaram muitas ideias, e depois vamos até às grandes empresas e aos grandes bancos no Brasil, que estão, muitos deles, numa fase de transformação, de começar a adotar algumas dessas ideias, de reorganizar de acordo com este foco no fluxo de valor. E eu tive a oportunidade, no final de novembro do ano passado, de estar no Brasil para dar algum treinamento e algumas palestras, e estive, por exemplo, no Banco do Brasil, e são desafios muito interessantes, porque estamos a falar de uma transformação de milhares de pessoas, de centenas de equipes, que é algo que é uma realidade que não existe em muitos lados, e então é preciso pensar, ok, como é que nós temos aqui uma aproximação mais faseada, mais gradual, de aprendizagem também contínua do que é que funciona, não funciona. Então eu acho que é muito interessante o que está a acontecer e tem acontecido ao longo dos anos no Brasil em relação, do ponto de vista de Team Topologies, claro, mas também de outras perspectivas de como melhorar o trabalho a nível digital.
Com certeza, muita coisa bacana para acontecer, ainda mais, né, com esse tópico, que é um tópico tão atual, a questão da Generative AI, né, e como que isso virá para redefinir o possível, vamos colocar assim, né, para redefinir acordos de times, formas de trabalho, organizações. Então, tem muita coisa, a gente está só nos estágios preliminares, vamos dizer assim, né, da adoção mais intencional e sustentável, né, de Generative AI, e entendendo também como colaborar nesses diferentes níveis, né, de Generative AI, e como ter um ganho de eficiência e um impacto real no dia a dia nas vidas dos times, né.
Sim, eu penso que é quase uma nova transformação. Obviamente, já falámos muito da transformação digital, e agora esta é outra componente que vem adicionar àquilo que já era uma transformação importante em muitas empresas, e agora como é que nós integramos a parte do Gen AI do ponto de vista também organizacional, de, como falaste, da melhoria de eficiência, de como é que nós aproveitamos tecnologia para conseguirmos entregar mais valor aos clientes, e novamente são desafios muito interessantes, principalmente em grandes empresas como no Brasil, em que é preciso pensar como é que isto fazemos isto de uma forma faseada, como é que suportamos esta adoção ao longo do tempo.
E como a gente trazer as topologias de time para esse fast flow, né? Então, acho que...
Sim. Eu já agora aproveito só para dizer que temos um projeto novo chamado Team Topologies Mastermind no Brasil, que será exatamente para ajudar os líderes nestas grandes empresas a navegar estes desafios que estamos a encontrar agora, para além daquilo que tudo que já tínhamos da transformação digital. Maybe Matthew, you want to?
Yeah. So
switch.
it's a really good point. So what Manuel was just saying there, if you don't speak Portuguese language, is he's going to be trialing what we're initially calling Mastermind series, where we'll go there in person, go to a particular location in person, meet with leadership, discussions face to face, really like try to drill down into some of the really difficult problems, and then use that as a way to help kickstart some solutions or some conversations and things, but also bring back that learning and awareness, and then potentially do things like generate some content, new video courses, new community discussions, and so on, like to really try and help organizations around the world get better at doing this stuff. So the first one, I think, Manuel, is going to be with you in Brazil this year, correct? This year?
We're still in the planning phase, but that would be the idea later in the year, to have a on-site meeting in Brazil. So if you want to know more, just follow me on LinkedIn. There will be some updates soon.
There's Manuel's LinkedIn, just Manuel page.
Thank you.
Easy enough.
So I'll have to drop off, but it was a pleasure to participate even for a little bit, and I look forward to the recording.
Cool. Cheers, Manuel.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cool. Right, Roberta, let's dive into the work that you've been doing then. And this article here that popped up, when was this? A few months ago? A couple of months ago?
In September 2024.
It's there, so a few months ago. So
I can't believe it. Almost 6 months already.
6 months ago. Okay. How Team Topologies can transform generative AI integration, because this is based on work that you've been doing, right? Like inside CI&T.
That is correct.
And this is kind of your a structured approach to it, and then you've got a sense of some sort of decision matrix about what kind of team type we might use in different situations depending on what we're trying to achieve, which is quite convenient. And then some sort of choices around streamlined versus enabling, and I think we might dive into this a little bit later, maybe when we choose a platform as well. So this is I'll just put this in the actual public chat actually. Here is the article by Roberta. There we go. I think we'll come back to that in a little bit later as we're kind of diving into the details, but just talk us through beforehand, like what's the nature of the work you've been doing, what sort of things have you built and been leading, and sort of what, I don't know, challenges or things have you come across in this kind of space with Gen AI, and sort of how you've thought about using Team Topologies to help guide or shape this initiative.
Yeah. So in 2022, our journey with AI started here at CI&T. We had an official launch of what we call CI&T Flow in July 2023. It's a platform that uses AI to accelerate and ignite the software development lifecycle as a whole. As of today, we have more than 1,000 users extensively using the platform to impact their day-to-day activities.
And these are internal users, right? These are your colleagues at CI&T as well, or these people outside of the organization as well?
Our clients and our internal users, yes. So it has been an amazing journey, understanding how we can enable the teams, because right now inside CI&T, we have around 100 people being responsible for the CI&T flow development, right? We went through from project to product mindset shift during this since 2023 until up to now, right? So it has been an amazing journey, like the way that the CI&T flow is enabling all the clients and projects that we have inside CI&T. And so to give you one idea, we have 7,000 employees as of today, and spread it across, I don't know how many clients at this point, but to adopt generative AI, meeting our clients and where they are, right, in terms of needs and how to customize and create new agents and new workflows and experiences to, accelerate and disrupt the generative AI ecosystem. So.
Mm-hmm. So there's these things like coding assistants. So there's the kind of assistant part, isn't there? There's like being able to write code faster, not having to type all the boilerplate stuff. But then there's also stuff like refactoring, maybe legacy modernization, those kind of things, which are speeding up things a lot. But then it goes beyond that from what you're saying. It goes into AI agents too. So how to create AI agents to then be part of that application.
Correct.
It's like it's multi-level, isn't it? The whole kind of AI coding thing. There's multiple different levels where we can apply AI into generative AI to give us different options, basically.
Coding is just one piece, right? So we have like the entire software development lifecycle being impacted. User stories, refinement, peer review process, deployment, testing, content generation, data. We have so many use cases at this point that it's even a challenge to keep up with all of them in detail. But yeah.
Yeah. So I thought we'd actually like dive in a little bit into making it like trying to kind of modeling it basically. Where are we? Okay, here. So what I did, I'll just bring this up here. So from your article, I copy and pasted some of this text here where you're talking about kind of choosing between streamlined teams and enabling teams for different types of, different scenarios basically around generative AI in terms of coding. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to model this out a little bit. We've got these nice Team Topologies team shapes here inside Miro, which, are you familiar with that? Have you seen that before?
Yeah.
You use it already, right?
Right.
So we've got these. So the current tool says flow change. We should say flow value. We'll update that at some point. So we've got a flow value. That's the first thing the first kind of piece of the diagram that we build. And we start off and we've got streamlined team. And they're focused on like a particular end user application, something. But they're keen to, I don't know, speed up workflow or something like this. They're keen to. Do you want to choose a scenario that is specific? It might be about something simple to start with, right?
Right. So inside CI&T flow, we have the engines that we would say that are the stream-aligned teams, right? Where we have the chat is part, steps, ops, coder workflow, coder assistant. These are the stream-aligned teams that we have inside CI&T flow.
That's inside the platform, right? So because that's they're creating these toolings right inside here.
Correct.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of an important initial point anyway for anyone who's watching the stream, which is that if I just move that to the back, oops, move that here. So the important point is that when we've got a platform, so this is, in this case, this is CI&T, and you're calling it Flow, aren't you? That's the name of the product.
Right.
But you've actually got teams inside here that represent different parts of that product effectively. What was one called? What was called Coding
Chat.
Assistant?
Yeah,
Oh,
Coding Assistant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coding Assistant. There we go. So we can come on to that in a minute because that's actually what you built. Oops, a daisy. Just send this backwards. I've ruined it now. I've ruined it. Let's just bring all these to the front. There we go. Bring to the front. That's better. Right. All good. That's good. We need to lock all those. I'll just group all those together for a sec. Right. Bring that down here. But just stepping back ever so slightly, before even this platform was created, let's say you've got a streamlined team in some kind of organization and they're looking to kind of adopt some kind of generative AI to kind of speed things up or to give them more options or whatever. So they start using, I don't know, something. So we'll pretend this is a particular kind of new tool. So they're using some, I don't know, some chat interface or some code generation or something, and they're using something else. I don't know, some sort of templating tool. Don't know what these things are. This is not Team Topologies diagram now. This is just different capabilities. But these things end up getting effectively bigger and bigger to configure, like this. Like the team's cognitive load is kind of stretching. They're having to do all this stuff here, which is, and at some point there's too much configuration, right? There's too much inside these to understand how to use these generative AI tools in an effective way. Maybe there might be too much configuration around it, or there might be too much like data preparation, or there might be a whole bunch of things, right? And that's presumably where your this platform comes in. There's a lot of stuff which is abstracted away from this team. So the detail of these things sits inside this platform, and this streamlined team can go back to focusing on doing what it really wants to do, which is payments, mortgages, retail, something else, right?
Healthcare, you name it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just consuming this stuff as a service from this platform. And let's pretend this capability was that one, and let's pretend that the capability was this one here. So the teams that this could be inside your organization, or it could be your customers, your client-side client organizations. They're just able to consume a packaged version of chat, a packaged version of Coding Assistant effectively, without having to worry about the details.
Right. Important details here. It's not details actually. Security, right? Cloud engineering, cloud operation. So if we were to have these as part of a classic or traditional stream-aligned team, they would end up becoming subcomplicated systems, right? So to your point, abstracting it from the stream-aligned teams changes and reshapes the way that we are leveraging generative AI as part of our day-to-day activities. And this has an enormous, significant impact in terms of efficiency gains and how we are impacting these projects' reality, right?
It's a bit like when cloud first became a thing back in 2010, something like that. You might have had a streamlined team here, which originally was just doing all the cloud stuff by itself, and that was fine because it was relatively straightforward, relatively simple. But then over time, it needed to have some kind of platform in there because the complexity of the cloud got bigger and bigger, effectively. And it feels like it's a very similar pattern here. Initially, a streamlined team might be able to deal with some security and data and runtime aspects of generative AI by itself, maybe for a bit, but at some time, all of that stuff just gets way too big. And we're pushing that complexity down into a platform here, so that the streamlined teams can focus on their mission. I mean, as an aside, that whole idea of like a team having a mission is then, like, to me, that's kind of obvious. It turns out for lots of organizations that's not obvious at all. I don't know whether you've seen this too, but just say, hey, what's your mission? Some people, well, I don't know, we just work on the next feature. It's like,
yeah, and once we have like clear goals and we know what we want to achieve, then it's just a matter of understanding how we are going to achieve it, right? How we are going to determine success, how success looks like. And it becomes a long-term problematic approach where as the Stream-Aligned team is focused on that goal, on that problem, then it will enrich the experience as the team progresses, right?
How did it work during the kind of development of the platform itself? Like, because normally what we'd expect to see is, so before we can really offer the, well, let's say we've got the first service being offered, but we're interested in offering like a second service, effectively, something else to all these users. What we're expecting to see is like a bit of collaboration in here between the platform and the streamlined team. So we're working with, let's say, one pioneer streamlined team. We're going to make an update to the way that the coding system works, and there's like a period of collaboration. Did you see that? Is that a thing that was then kind of a thing that you did? You deliberately like trying to shape what the offering is before you start to offer it as a service?
Right now, we are in this moment of doing a lot of research prior to incorporating new features, let's put it this way, to our CI&T flow. But that came with this significant change in the mindset from a project to product approach, and how organizing the teams in a team topologies fashion enable that to happen in an even faster flow, right? So the first teams that we had as part of the CI&T flow were chat and steps in the support team. As we progressed navigating this amazing AI journey, then we incorporated other teams, kind of like code assistant, code workflow, communication team, data analytics, data core, you name it.
Yep.
And as we look intentionally to the generative AI journey, then of course the opportunities to organize it in a streamlined fashion become more clear to us. So,
yeah, and I think that kind of intentional thing there is for me is look, it's 5.5 years since the book was published. Since it's been Manuel and I started writing it nearly just coming up for 6 years ago. That thing about intentional collaboration, like when do we want to deliberately say, right, we're going to work together on this specific thing in order to achieve this new thing, and then we're going to not work together. And that intention around there feels like kind of an important, it seems to give people a different perspective on work, on how to do work. Have you seen that as part of that transition, like project to product thing? Is that part of it?
Yeah, because when we organize the teams in a streamlined fashion, then we can enable rapid feedback that are crucial for refining what is being done and what is being accomplished. And once that becomes even more clear, then, fast flow happens. Agility is in place, faster delivery, features are being done and delivered quickly, and can accelerate not only the deployment of generative AI as part of day-to-day activities, but also understand what are the other opportunities that were not that clear in the first place, right? So we
That's
are
interesting. Can you expand on that a little bit? Like it sort of shines a light on those opportunities, because that sounds kind of important. That's like an innovation. It's enhancing innovation or something like that. That is like a specific example you got which relates to AI in that space. That'd be really interesting to dive into.
So we here are often sharing our experiences when it comes down to generative AI. So we understood recently that code transposing would be interesting to have it in automate more that part of the journey, or generate insights into the peer review process itself. So these are some of the examples that I can give where we are enhancing the existing platform, and we have our entire community operating closely, understanding how getting to the next stage of our journey, where we reuse agents, where we have a marketplace for our agents, where we have metrics in place that we not only have adopted generative AI heavily, but we are understanding the gains of it. Right. And then once we start in a new project, or once we have a new challenge being faced, we know the agents that we have data to support that will be effective considering this scenario here, right? That affects, I would say, not only the software development life cycle point, but also how we are bringing new talents to collaborate in these projects, considering that AI is at this stage in our journey. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about this point. So this is copy and pasted from this Building Bridges article from you before, from September. Where are we here? And I just thought it might be interesting to explore, like particularly enabling team, because enabling team is I mean, it existed as a concept prior to Team Topologies, but I think it's fair to say Team Topologies significantly popularized or made much more visible the value of an enabling team. So it'd be interesting to explore through, if we had, like, when would we use an enabling? When have you used an enabling team in this CI&T flow kind of platform? Like, is there a particular example of a challenge where the enabling team was the right kind of team to use as you were building it out, or as you're using it? What could that be? Let's make it real.
So initial adoption, right? Adoption is a challenge, right? So if the project is new to generative AI, an enabling team could help that team to overcome initial obstacles, such as lack of knowledge or expertise, like understanding about LLMs, understanding how to configure any like connections needed, that sort of thing. It's, skill development is another important part of it. Provide training and resources to upskill that team, fostering a culture of learning, showcasing hands-on, because I have been using this to accelerate my delivery, and this is saving me around 3 hours. I would take one day to do it, and generative AI is reducing that cost in 60%. Let's put it this way.
Wow. Okay.
Technical complexity as well. So if AI involves highly specialized technical challenges, we can, through an enabling team, have that expertise at our disposal in facilitating collaboration. So that's the part where I like the most, building bridges, helping to coordinate between multiple teams to ensure AI integration without handling user-facing features. So these are some of the experiences that we are having here internally.
So this is particularly important, I imagine, when you're doing very rapid adoption. So you've got whatever, be more than 2 teams, right? You might have, let's just draw another one on here. We've got another team in the mix here as well. But ultimately, how many do you know roughly how many teams might be consuming your Flow platform?
Right now,
approximately.
We have more than 1,000 users and more than 30 projects widely adopting it and counting. The forecast that we have for July 24 is that we will have more than 5,000 users as part of the CI&T Flow experience. So generative AI indeed is an exponential opportunity, right?
Yeah. So what, July this year that was?
Yes, this is what we're envisioning for July 2025.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So that's a fairly large number. That's all right. But then, so we've got many, many different teams, and particularly with this, what's really challenging in generative AI at the moment, obviously, is the speed of innovation. So thinking back to the speed of cloud innovation back in 2010, let's say, it felt quite quick. There's a lot of innovation happening, but it wasn't as quick as the pace of change that's happening now inside generative AI, which there's a new model being released every few weeks almost, depending on like different parts around the world, different capabilities being released, whether it's RAG or whether it's something else, a new way of doing other kinds of like data preparation or whatever. And so the pace of change in the technology is so great that like it's almost like we're continuously adopting, continuously upskilling. And therefore, like enabling team here almost is always helping some team across the organization to upskill, or maybe several teams to upskill in a new way of doing something.
And this is a perfect point that you touched. Like there are so many LLMs, and the fact that we have a CI&T flow at our disposal, we have a team that is dedicated exclusively to managing which LLMs are the best ones for us to use, and are constantly understanding that. So I don't need to worry about that. I'm just consuming it, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Wow. So I might just rename analytics. So there's analytics in there, but I might just rename this to something like this is
AI Core. This is the team that I mentioned.
AI Core. That's AI Core. Okay, got it. And that's just basically choosing the best LLMs. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's But I imagine that's like it's just continuous at the moment, like, because all these new updates coming out and so on and so on, different capabilities, different flavors, different ways to tune them. Can you change the weights? Can you not change the weights? All this kind of stuff. It's like that's a continuous stream of value, basically, to be able to sort of package that up as a service and say, hey, folks, like these folks up here, you don't need to worry about which LLM is behind the scenes. We'll do that for you, and you just get to use the goodness.
Yes, and there is even now the data core team that is generating insights and views about the platform usage. So this is kind of the stage where we are understanding from a product perspective how to continuously impact the software development lifecycle as a whole for our clients, right?
Yep. So there's like insights. You're getting insights about the platform itself, which then can help you kind of iterate on that. It becomes like a virtuous circle, sort of innovation circle, doesn't it?
And let's not forget one important part here to highlight, Matthew, that is the security part of it, right?
Yep.
Considering ethical standards, AI standards, this is something that, we should emphasize all the time, right? Especially navigating uncharted waters like AI. So we do have a dedicated and specialist in security, right? To make sure that we are in compliance with all ethical standards, right?
Does that security and an ethical expertise, does that tend to work out here as an enabling team with the streamlined teams that are using the platform, or does it tend to work more like inside here as an internal thing?
In the platform itself, we have a dedicated team exclusive to security portion.
Is that represented more like a streamlined team, or is it more like an enabling team? Or you're not sure?
That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because in my point of view, that's a platform team, right? So yeah, like I wanted to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. And this is where the language, I think, really shines, because it helps us to think through. We've got these primitives, which they're not perfect, right? These like the four different kind of teams, or it's really actually three types of team and a grouping, because the platform is really a grouping. But anyway, security, like it's a bit security. It's a bit kind of, I don't know. There's not a lot of variety there, but it seems so far there's a sort of enough variety to have conversations, at least to be able to sort of discuss things in different terms. So we've got a little security platform here. So that's providing some services out to some of these other teams, correct? So it's helping some of these other teams to sort of consume some stuff as a service. Somehow we're able to chat. We can consume some stuff about security from inside that security platform. So it wouldn't surprise me. Like in Team Topologies terms, the purpose of a platform obviously is to improve flow by reducing cognitive load, and it can do that by just a wiki page. It can do that by some API, some services. It can do that by all kind of different ways and means. But if it doesn't have to be providing technology exactly, but if it's helping these other teams to focus on their core mission, they might be outside a platform or they might be inside a platform. So in the case of this team here, mission is chat. It helps it to focus on that core mission, so that basically the chat team doesn't really need to know so much about security. Then that's a reasonable like mission for that platform.
Right.
But what we've realized is that there's typically a dynamic. There's typically a dynamic where you've got a platform and sometimes they act like an enabling team, because if we're helping if we're exploring some stuff with the chat team, and which we want to help them adopt security better, we're actually going to work with them as an enabling team for a period of time, might be a couple of days, help them to upskill, just like you said. And then the chat team goes, we now understand security better. Right, great. That means we would need a service like this, or that would explain why we're not using your service correctly. And then we go back and we kind of maybe change this, what's provided as a service, and then we can serve their needs better. But there's almost like a cyclic thing from platform to enabling team and back into a platform again. And that maybe where some of this like question comes from is like sometimes we're behaving like enabling team and sometimes we're providing services. I think that's what we're seeing quite often, basically. Does that resonate with you? It's like this, for sure. in my head. It's kind of going around this loop. There's a question from Helen. Hi, let's have a look. This is going to be a good question. Thanks for this. I have a question. So in CI&T, are some components that the Flow platform needs centralized, as is the platform needs services from another platform and that platform may not flow well? Are there any challenges on that interaction? That's a great question, yeah, thank you.
This is the part. This is the part
like
where
this, where we've got like an external platform or something like this, where we're not getting X as a service, where we're not getting nice interfaces, maybe.
This is where our last created team comes in. That is the solutions team that helps to understand the needs, create the initial vision, connect use cases. So we do have a dedicated team to support that part of the journey, Gillian. Hopefully this answers your question.
So that there's some sort of, there's some work that happens. It's some combination probably of like enabling team and something else that happens between these to enable the interaction there to be a little bit more fluid.
Yeah, it tries to reduce the cognitive load related to that challenge specifically, and in order for the team that is consuming to overcome the obstacle. Maybe it's a matter of creating a new AI agent. Maybe it's a matter to reshape the way that you're using CI&T flow. It can be many things, right?
Cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing all this. I think it's great. And thanks, Guillaume, for the question. Appreciate it. I'll just remove that. So let's think a little bit. We've got a couple of minutes left. A little bit of like, imagine you've got your crystal ball and you're gazing into the crystal ball. What's there in the future? So like, I'd be interested to know from your perspective, based on what you've seen and you've been working with the teams on all this stuff over the last few years, like how generative AI might kind of change, and particularly how it might affect some of the sort of approaches to organizations and teams and this kind of thing. What's your gut feeling about this? What's it look like, or is it difficult to say?
I think that we are approaching a time where we will have AI assisted roles, right? And the next question that we will make to the professionals will be, what type of agents have you created, more than just applying AI in general? So that's, I think, how to navigate the layers. I would say that that's one of the main skills for us to develop as we progress in this AI journey, right? Integration with other technologies as well, like IoT, VR, AR. I would say that a blockchain can create even more immersive experiences as well. The part where we will hyper-personalize everything, I think that that's something that will be coming up soon. I'm interested to understand how we are going to reshape the workflows and the ways of working, considering AI, right? So and continue learning as we progress, because every day is a new thing that is available. But I would list this ability to create AI agents. I think regardless of the fact of you being a software developer or not, this is something that we should be pursuing, in how we are going to impact the ways of working, right?
So creating an AI agent is the cloud equivalent of creating your own like SaaS or like cloud hosted product or something, and it's the equivalent from the 2000s of like creating your own website, something like that. Like this is things that it's a thing, a piece of technology that initially it was like coders could do, but actually in the future there's going to be just other people can configure and specify one of these things, whether it's a website or whether it's like some sort of integration thing like Zapier, or whether it's our own AI agent. It feels like it's sort of a similar kind of thing. It's a brand new capability, which if you dive down underneath it is really complicated, but there's all of this stuff on underneath, which means that we can just think about working with, say, AI agent. Is that what you mean? Like it's that level of accessibility? Yeah.
Right. And one of the things that I would say that is another skill that we should be like refreshing our approach to it is the big stories, like the narratives. They will be the ones telling us how to better leverage AI as part of our journeys and day-to-day activities, right? Because it pretty much depends on you how you're going to leverage AI. If you were to use like initial prompts, then it will give you like vague responses or not suitable responses for what you need, right? So in order to, the way that you're going to collaborate with the AI, it changes the game too, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Roberta, thank you so much. We can find, I'll just get the link up again. It's great to chat. Loved it. If you want to follow Roberta, there's her LinkedIn. And you'll find, I think you've got the article linked on there, haven't you, from your LinkedIn, the one that you and you wrote one more recently as well.
About how to modernize using Team Topologies, right?
This one's modernization, transforming legacy systems, which obviously we can now use AI as part of that modernization thing in terms of like refactoring and translating code and things like this.
And I will be talking at UX DX about building bridges in Team Topologies and AI. Date to be confirmed.
UX DX, this conference here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not there yet, but I will be shortly.
Is that the one in the USA or the one in EMEA?
You know, I will be doing an online session.
Online session. Okay. Super. All right. Well, folks, look out for that. That is cool. And that's it. Roberta, thanks so much. It's been super. Love it. And thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for the comments and questions. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Yay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.